So, Spare Us. I have read it, and I actually read it quite a few days ago, and I was reluctant to make a video because I've seen other people making videos about it on YouTube, and what they basically just do is read the book, which I don't know how they get away with that, with copyright and everything. But no, I haven't seen anyone do a real review, and the few that I have seen who have done a review just think it's hysterically funny. And I think there's something wrong with me because yes, it is amusing. It has definite funny bits in it that made me giggle. But overall, I was sort of disappointed. It was a bit of a meh because I feel like it was a missed opportunity. It felt to me like it wasn't edited enough. It wasn't tight. It didn't have enough funny, amusing moments hitting you. You know, it need to have more. It need to have more funny bits. It's like when you're trying to write like a stand-up bit, and your jokes are too far apart and there's too much setup and there's too much meandering in between your stories. You need to tighten it up so that the audience is kept laughing and engaged and interested and excited. And I just didn't get that feeling with this book. The chapters are very short. And it was like they couldn't decide what they wanted it to be. There's two ways in my mind you could do a parody. You could have it that people that have read Harry's book Spare would then purchase Spare Us, and then I think it would be quite delightful because you can just quickly see the contrast between the two books because you're really familiar with Harry's book. But then you've got the other way you could do the parody where you've got to do extensive setup so that people get it because they may not have read Harry's book, or aimed at people that may have heard the highlights of Harry's book from the media or through interviews but haven't actually read it. So you've got to do more setup so that the jokes make sense. And I felt like this book couldn't make up its mind what it wanted to be. At times it was so brief that if you hadn't read the book, there's no way you would get it. And then in other times it belaboured the setup so much that it was a bit boring. And then you got a little gag after all this setup that you'd waded through. So, but there were funny bits, and I will tell you a few funny bits that I've highlighted. I'm not going to give you all the funny bits because then I've ruined the book for everybody, but I'll tell you a few things that gave me a wry smile. The promise of humour, the promise of a good time was in the first chapter. And he sets it up similar to Harry in the opening, that he's waiting for his father and William to come along and speak to him after Prince Philip's funeral. And you've seen me go off on another video about that in the 5 ways that Harry betrayed William. If you want to check it out, I basically rant about this moment. But Bruno Vincent does a funny take because Harry pointed out in his book that there's a lot of, there's a cemetery and there's graves and everything. And Prince Charles then, it was Prince Charles then, was sort of avoiding the confrontation and was sort of going off into a bit of a history lesson about all the graves and everything that were nearby. And Bruno Vincent says, so he's referring to this graveyard and he's saying, just imagine them standing next to you. Henry VIII, Queen Victoria, Ken Dodd, Lennon. So that was a little right in the first few paragraphs. And then there's another little funny joke. I cast my eye over the marble mausoleums covered with ivy and moss. Just as I was thinking about crumbling outdated relics, my father appeared. So that was quite cute, I thought. And that was in the first page. So I felt quite excited because I thought, this is going to be good, Then there was another little gag in the first chapter. I had nothing but love for my cowardly, selfish father and my balding, violent, self-righteous brother. I thought that was good. That was a good little summary. So it sort of seemed to follow a bit of a pattern where it was the setup, the joke, boom, boom. Set up, joke, boom, boom. And some moments I just felt like, oh, you could have said this, or you could have said that, or, this would have been funnier, or, yeah. So that's my very short, honest review of Spare Us. I think you really will enjoy it if you've actually read Harry's book in detail, and then as an accompaniment to that, even have Harry's book open and then be looking at Spare Us and compare the two. That would be a fun little exercise to do. I did that. I don't think many people will do that though, because they're not sort of as nerdy as me, are they? So yeah, I think it's a pass from me. Sorry. And to be honest with you, I don't think I'm the best one to review Spare Us. I know everyone wants it to be really good because everyone's really sick of Harry and they want to stick the boot in. They want it to be really great and funny, but nah, I think it missed the mark. But I'm not the best one to review it because I'm not a fan of Bruno Vincent's parodies on the Famous Five books. I find them a little bit ho-hum too. So by all means, go and look at other Spare Us reviews on YouTube. If you can find one that fits what you want to hear, go with that. Okay, until next time, I can't wait to see you again. Bye-bye.